We're carrying on with the very important topic of proportion, and you'll see that we've got this little bit in the scheme of work talking about recipes. Okay, and these are a real classic question at GCSE. So this is going to lead us on to doing Hegarty 740. Now, a couple of measures that you just need to be familiar with. You need to be familiar with the fact that there are 1,000 millilitres in 1 litre, and you'll see that Hegarty Maths used L for litre a lot. So when it says 1L, that means 1 litre, and 1,000 millilitres equal 1 litre. And then the other thing you may be aware of, or you need to know, is that there are 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. Okay, 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So just make sure you're okay with those. So what I want to do, I just want to model the 3 types of questions that are cropping up in Hegarty 740. Okay, so 740 is what we're going to be doing, but I just want to model the 3 different types of questions for you. So the first one, so this is an example of a question 4. James is following this recipe to make some flapjacks. He uses 660 millilitres of syrup. How many flapjacks is James making? So obviously this question is all about syrup. It's your starting point. So just go and gather up the information that you know about syrup. Now we know that 110 millilitres of syrup makes 8 flapjacks. So that should be your first line of working. We know 110 millilitres is 8 flapjacks. Now James is using 660 millilitres. Okay, he's using 660 millilitres. So how have we got to the 660 from the 110? What have we actually had to do to get from 110 to 660? Well, we've multiplied by 6. It's 6 times as much. Now, how did I get that multiplying by 6? How did I get my multiplying by 6? I've obviously done 660 divided by 110. Okay, 660 divided by 110. So that's given me my multiplier. I can see that I'm using 6 times the amount of syrup. So how many flapjacks am I going to be making? Well, 6 times the number of flapjacks. And my initial recipe was to make the 8 flapjacks. So multiply that by 6, and that gives me 48 flapjacks. So just running through that again really quickly. The question is talking about syrup. So that is the information we take from the question. 110 millilitres of syrup gives us 8 flapjacks. But James is using 660 millilitres. That's 6 times as much. 6 times as much. We're multiplying by 6. So it's going to give us 6 times as many flapjacks. 8 lots of 6 are 48. So that's going to be like the opening 4 questions. The next type you're going to get will be something like this. So it's a similar approach. Go and see what the question is asking you to do. And we're being told that Anna uses 550 grams of sugar. So you need to start off by processing this sugar information. So we can see that 110 grams of sugar, 110 grams of sugar makes the 24 biscuits. The 24 biscuits. Now Anna uses Anna uses 550 grams of sugar, 550 grams. So just like before, the blue bit over here is just like the one we just practiced. We say to ourselves, how many times more is the 550 grams of sugar? How do we get from 110 to 550? Well, we multiply by 5. Okay, I've done 550 divided by 110. I can see I've got 5 times the amount of sugar. So how many biscuits can I make with 550 grams of sugar? Well, I'm multiplying by 5. 24 times 5 is my 120 biscuits. Now that was just like the previous questions, but this one is asking us something different. It's asking us how many grams of oats will she need? So looking at the oats information, we can see that 275 grams of oats makes the 24 biscuits. Makes the 24 biscuits. Now again, we're making 120 biscuits, so we're still multiplying by 5, just like before. So we take our 275 grams, we multiply that by 5, and that gives us 1375 grams of oats we will be using. So that is then questions 5 and 6 will look like that. Excuse me. Now, I think then I've gone straight to question 10 here. Okay, so the questions leading up to question 10 look like this. So again, go and see what information the question is talking about. NASA's using sugar. So you go and need to process the sugar information. So looking at the recipe, 175 grams of sugar makes 12 flapjacks. 175 grams of sugar makes 12 flapjacks. Now, NASA uses 1.4 kilograms of sugar. Now, this is why we needed to remember how to translate between kilograms and grams. So he uses 1.4 kilograms of sugar. If you multiply that by 1,000, that means he's using 1,400 grams of sugar. Okay, 1.4 kilograms is 1,400 grams. So how many times bigger is the amount of sugar that he's using? So 175 grams gave us 12 flapjacks. Well, how many this sugar that you were using of 1,400, how many times bigger is that than 175? Now I've worked out that it's 8. How have I worked out that 8? I've taken my 1,400, I've divided by 175, and that gave me my 8. So it's 8 times as much sugar. It's going to mean we can make 8 times as many flapjacks. 12 multiplied by 8, 12 multiplied by 8 gives us our 96 flapjacks. So how many flapjacks is NASA making? He's making 96 flapjacks. And then question 11 and 12 were like this. Okay, so again, they all start off the same way. Your starting point is just to read the first bit of information. Angela uses 1.6 litres of syrup. So this question is all about syrup to start with. So go to the recipe and dig out the syrup information. So 275 grams of syrup, milliliters of sugar, of syrup makes 14 biscuits. Now, Angela uses 1.6 litres. Remember how I told you this L, that L is standing for litres. So Angela uses 1.1 litres of syrup. Now 1.1 litres, we need to go and turn that into millilitres. So we've times that by 1,000 to give us 1,100 millilitres of syrup. So again, we've got to say to ourselves, how much bigger a quantity is it going from 275 to 1100? How many times bigger is it? So I take my 1,100, I divide it by 275, and I can see that it's 4 times the amount. 4 times the amount of syrup, 4 times as many biscuits. 14 times 4 means we're making 56 biscuits. Now, what the question asks us to do is to work out how much sugar is needed. Okay, how much sugar is needed. So go to the question, the recipe, and dig out your sugar information. 110 grams makes 14 biscuits. 100 grams. I think I said 110. I meant to say 100 grams of sugar makes 14 biscuits. Okay, now we know that we're making 56 biscuits. That was 4 times as much. So how much sugar are we going to need? We take our 100 grams, multiply it by 4, and we need 400 grams. So read the question. How does the question want the answer? The question wants the answer in kilograms. So we've had to then divide that by 1,000 to turn it into kilograms. 400 divided by 1,000 is 0.4 kilograms. Now, I think these are quite tricky, guys. It's a really important topic, but it may be that you start doing it, and if you find you're getting questions wrong, like number 12, you'll have to come back and watch the video again. If you find you're getting questions wrong, like number 10, just come back and follow through what I've done. So it may be that it takes you a couple of goes to get this sorted, guys, but some of you, it will probably come very naturally and you just whip through it quite quickly. Others of you might struggle, but just give it your best shot. It's a really important topic. So that's it, guys. Sorry, that was quite a long recording, but I just thought it was important for me to model the 4 different types of questions that come up. Okay, so that's it, guys. Good luck.